Hey guys, welcome back to Z World News. Here with an update on the Israeli conflict going on. The article I'm going to be reading to you is from the Wall Street Journal. It gives a lot of background information on how the escalation started, and it also gives updates on what the situation is like currently. So let's go ahead and get started with the article. The article is titled, "What's Behind the Escalating Israeli and Palestinian Conflict?" Confrontation sparked by tensions old and new threatened to deepen the region's turmoil. The article is written by Felicia Schwartz, May 12, 2021. Clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police in the contested city of Jerusalem have escalated, with Israel striking scores of targets in Gaza in response to hundreds of rockets that were launched by Palestinian militants. So far, 43 Palestinians, including 13 children, and 5 Israelis have died in the fighting. The confrontation, sparked by tensions old and new, threatens to deepen the region's turmoil. A full-blown war could force the U.S. to shift attention to the Middle East when it has been focused on Russia, China, and battling the coronavirus. Here's a quick premiere on what's going on. What is happening in Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem has experienced its worst violence in years, with Palestinians and Israeli police clashing in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of East Jerusalem, at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and elsewhere in the Old City. Tensions rose sharply over a looming Israeli Supreme Court decision on whether to uphold the eviction of Palestinian families from their homes in their strategically situated Sheikh Jarrah. Hundreds of Palestinians have been injured in the clashes, with police using flash grenades, tear gas, and sponge-tipped bullets, which they said were necessary to respond to people throwing stones at security forces. More than 20 Israeli police have been injured. Now, the compound where the mosque is located, known to Muslims as a noble sanctuary and as a Temple Mount to Jews, has become a focal point of Palestinian anger over what they see as years of efforts to push them out of Jerusalem and limit their access to land they claim, as well as infringing on the basic rights. Right-wing Israeli efforts to assert control in East Jerusalem, which Israel claims as part of its undivided capital, have inflamed the situation. Monday was especially tense as young right-wing Israelis participated in marches associated with Jerusalem Day, meant to commemorate Israel's capture of East Jerusalem in 1967. Now, why is Israel and Gaza ruler Hamas fighting? Hamas began firing rockets towards Israel on Monday evening after the militant group issued an ultimatum to Israeli police forces to leave the Al-Quds Mosque complex and other areas in the contested city or else face attacks. The cross-border clashes are the worst since the 2014 Gaza war, with Hamas sending hundreds of rockets towards central Israel. Now, some of the first rockets were aimed at Jerusalem, which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said was a red line. Since Monday evening, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad have launched more than 1,000 rockets towards Israel, which has responded with aerial attacks that Palestinian medical services say have killed 43 people, including 13 children, Israel says. It has killed dozens of operatives of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Gaza's second largest militant group. 5 Israelis have died in rocket attacks. Hamas, the de facto ruler of the Gaza Strip since it seized control in 2007, says it will continue to fight until Israel changes course in Jerusalem. Israel says it wants Hamas, which the U.S. and other Western countries consider a terrorist group, to get the message that it won't accept attacks on its citizens and cities. Now, what is Israel's Iron Dome? Israel's land-based Iron Dome missile defense system intercepts short-range rockets and has become a bedrock of the country's defense since its introduction in 2011. In the current round of hostilities, Israel's military said the system has intercepted more than 200 of the more than 1,000 rockets fired towards Israel. The system selectively intercepts rockets that threaten civilians or strategic infrastructure. Now, how has the U.S. responded so far? The Biden administration has urged both sides to de-escalate tensions, engaging in discussions with Israeli and Palestinian officials. The U.S. has condemned the rocket fire and said it supports Israel's right to defend itself, but has also expressed concerns about